So what we're going to talk about here is gymnosperm reproduction. And you got a gymnosperm tree, it's got the needles and it's got the cones. And so I'm going to draw, here's our lovely little cone. It's one of a couple cones. I'm just going to draw it kind of warped for a reason. Here's the other cone hanging off on this side. Again, I'm going to try and draw him warped for a reason. Also, it warped for a reason. There's no he or she here. It's all sporophyte diploid tissue. No male, no female, no nothing. So the sporophyte is called a sporophyte because it makes spores. And it makes spores into structures. On this side, we're going to call the structure an ovule, which will eventually ripen into what's called the seed. And the ovule makes the female gametophyte. So she will make the female gametophyte inside. And here's our little female gametophyte who's going to make eggs. Okay? So this is our female gametophyte. And she is haploid. Sorry about my handwriting. She is haploid. Okay? So, she's hanging out in her cone. Sometimes people will say male and female cones. I may make that mistake. Understand the cones are actually sporophyte tissue. Okay? So over here, meanwhile, we have a structure of sporophyte tissue. And inside that structure, there are male gametophytes made. And so this is a male gametophyte. Their cones are usually, the cone that has the male gametophytes is usually a little lower, so that way they don't impregnate themselves. So there's the male gametophyte. This is what we call pollen, that floats through the air, gives people allergies, lands on your car. You have to wash it off in the spring because it's covered in pollen. Now, when the wind blows, that little thing with the little wings, that little pollen will float through the air over to the female gametophyte. And so I'm going to just draw the female gametophyte right here. Here she is. And the male lands. Here he is. He's landed. He's got a sperm. But he's still got a problem. He's landed in the cone. You know, he's kind of nestled himself up into the cone. But he's got a problem because he's got to grow to the female gametophyte a tube to transport the sperm. Okay, so the sperm basically grows along with the tissue, and the tissue keeps growing until the sperm bumps into the egg. And by the way, how long does it take for a male plant to grow his penis long enough to impregnate the girl? A couple of years. So there's no slam bam thank you man here in the plant world, with the gymnosperms at least. It can take a long, long time, a couple of years, for these cones to mature and drop the seeds. So once fertilization happens, inside the seed you've got the female gametophyte and you've got her baby. And the seed will fall out and fall to the ground, and then basically when that happens, it can sit there until the conditions get right. Because the baby can live off the female gametophyte tissue for a while until conditions are perfect for sprouting. So that is the reproductive life cycle of a gymnosperm, and I apologize for the drawing, but it's as good as it gets for me. I'm not an artist.